For this video, I wanted to look specifically into women's jeans brands that are more likely to be found in the average thrift store and that maybe sometimes are overlooked. I've done a ton of research to compile a list for you, and I've come up with 9 different brands to highlight, and then I have one bonus brand at the end, so make sure to stay tuned for that. So let's get right into it. The first brand is American Eagle. Now, I recently just came across a pair of jeans for myself that were American Eagle, and they are so comfortable. They're my favorite jeans that I currently own. And I decided to just look these up on eBay because I had heard a lot of hype around these jeans. And I checked out the sell-through rate, and I was shocked to see that the sell-through was almost 100% for this specific style within the brand. And I'll dive in deeper into what these styles are in just a little bit. But the first point I really wanted to drive home today with this video is don't discount some of these so-called mall brands like I have in the past. I will be honest, in the past, I would just flip right past American Eagle jeans because it's a mall brand not known as the best quality. But American Eagle, and there are a couple of other so-called mall brands that are having a resurgence of sorts with their denim. And so I'm going to highlight these. And by no means am I saying go out and buy every pair of American Eagle jeans that you thrift, because a lot of these are still not worth picking up. But there are some gems within this brand, and so I want to highlight those today. As you can see here, there are 95,000 women's American jeans listed on eBay currently. And I'm going to go ahead and filter down to pre-owned because that's generally what we find while we're out thrifting. So that takes it down to 87,000 jeans. That's a lot. Now when we filter to solds, we see there are 19,000 that have sold within the past 90 days. So that's not a great sell-through rate. That's only about 20%. On average with clothing, I love to be around 50%. In a perfect world, I would pick up things that are 100%. But with clothing, sometimes it's a little harder to find those super high sell-through rates. So about 50% is my safe middle ground. Let me know what your personal threshold is for your store. So that being said, as you can see, not a great sell-through for this brand overall, but let's dive into some of these gems within the brand. Okay, so let's check out women's American Eagle wide leg jeans, because we know that right now wide leg, the flare, boot cut are trending, not so much the skinny jeans. And I'll say across most of these brands that I highlight, keep that in mind. Unless it's a really desirable brand, I usually leave those behind right now. So we can see currently for wide leg women's American Eagle jeans, there are 1,400 active listings. And then when we filter to solds, there are 1,000. So that sell-through rate is way better. That is closer to 70%. I was honestly shocked to see the sell-through rate so high with American Eagle jeans, but apparently they have had a recent comeback with their denim. They've done some recent marketing campaigns with Sydney Sweeney and also with Travis Kelce. And I think those, along with other factors, have helped with the resurgence of this brand. I'd also consider picking up the flare and the boot cut or straight leg jeans. And last, within the American Eagle brand, the American Eagle Dreamy Drape jeans are really popular. And you can see there are 54 active listings, so not a ton. And then filtering to solds, we see that there are 24 that sold within the past 90 days. So that's about 50%. And you can see here the American Eagle Sydney Sweeney collab jeans sold for $100. Granted, those are going to be harder to come across, but just something to be aware of. Let me show you close. This has the butterfly embellishment on the back, and here's the back tag. It is even sideways, and this listing still got $100. So there's definitely demand for this. So definitely keep an eye out for those Sydney Sweeney American Eagle collabs, but also don't sleep on the more trending styles like wide leg, flare, etc. Number 2 is another mall brand that I have previously passed up as well, and that is Abercrombie & Fitch. I looked into this a little bit, and what I found was that the brand's focus on improving denim fit, expanding its size range, especially with the Curve Love line, and updating its styles to include popular fits like the 90s relaxed jeans, have resonated with customers. And this has led to a resurgence in popularity for this brand. So let's dive into this brand and check out which styles might be worth picking up. So let's go ahead and filter to used. We see there are 33,000 active listings, and then filtering to sold, we can see there are 3,300, which is only about a 10% sell-through rate. Not great. So again, don't go and pick up every Abercrombie & Fitch jeans that you come across. And just a quick side note for those who are new, the way I'm finding the sell-through rate is taking the number of active listings, and then I divide that by the sold listings and multiply it by 100. And that just gives us a quick idea of what the sell-through is currently how quickly we could expect this item to sell for us. Let's go ahead and dive deeper into this brand to try and find a couple of gems. So filtered to used, let's go down and select wide leg. Since we know that's the most popular right now, we have 519 active listings, and then filtering to solds, 168. And that's about a 30% sell through. Still not ideal, but it's a lot better than that 10%. And you can see here with the comps that these can bring in decent money. This pair sold for $54.99. Here's one that sold for $60. And then a couple that sold for $45 plus shipping. You can see quite a few of these that sold were that Curve Love line that seems to be popular right now. So let's take a look at the tag. You can see here, there's a little tag that says Curve Love. And then right here, it says the Flare Ultra High Rise. So that makes it really easy to be able to look up the certain style and check sell through. And that's always my recommendation. Let this video be a baseline for you, but always look up the specific style. And then also be cognizant of the size, because size can play a huge factor in desirability. The same pair of jeans might have a really high sell-through for one size versus a really low sell-through for another size. So that's just something to always be mindful of. Number 3 is the brand Mother. Now, I will admit this one probably isn't going to be as prevalent in the thrift stores as the previous two that I mentioned, but it is such a hot seller for women's jeans that I had to include it in the list. And it's still a brand that's not impossible to come across. We've definitely found it and sold it. There are currently 19,000 active listings, and filtering to solds, you can see there are 5,100 that have sold brand wide. So that's about a 27% sell through, not amazing. But you can see here, even the skinny jeans sold for $40 plus shipping. Here's another skinny that sold for $50 plus shipping. So this might be one of the few brands where I would make an exception and pick up skinny jeans, if the price is right, of course, and I'm okay holding on to it for a little bit longer. But let's check out comps for wide leg Mother jeans. There are currently 416 active listings, and then sold, we see there are 275. So that's around a 66% sell-through rate, which is much better. So the trend continues. Keep an eye out for those wide leg jeans, and you can see that these can bring in really good money. This pair sold for $119. And of course, some won't bring in quite as much, but a lot of these for around that $100 mark. And just out of curiosity, let's check out comps for skinny jeans within this brand. There are currently 5,000 skinny jeans listed, and filtering to solds, 673. So that's definitely not a great sell-through, just a little over 10%. But as you can see, these are still bringing in around $30 to $50. So definitely not anywhere close to the wide leg comps, but depending on your business model, it might be worth considering. And I like Mother jeans because they are really easy to spot. They have this M embroidered on the back. And then here is a picture of the inside tag. It's generally leather, just a very clean, simple label. Number 4 is the brand Levi's. I can't make a women's denim video without mentioning Levi's. And as you know, all Levi's are not created equal. Some are definitely not worth picking up. For example, the Denizen ones are usually not worth much at all, but there are definitely some gems within this brand to keep an eye out for. And I feel like Levi's are very prevalent out in the wild. The first are the women's Levi baggy dad jeans. You can see there are 381 current listings, and then filtering to solds, 166. So that's around 44%, not horrible. And you can see that these are bringing in around that $30 to $40 mark. And then here is a picture of the inside tag. It says baggy dad, so it makes it really easy to recognize the style. Next up are the women's ribcage Levi's. There are currently 4,300 active listings, and filtering to solds, 1,200 that have sold. So that's about 28%. These are bringing in around $20 to $40, I would say. So with this brand, I would definitely pick these up at the bins, for example, where they're a couple of dollars. I probably wouldn't pay up for them at the thrift store. Here is a picture of the rib cage tag. It looks very similar to the baggy dad tag. Third is the women's Levi high-rise boot cut. This one has 2,100 active listings, and filtering to sold, there are 654 that have sold. That's about that 30% mark. The next brand is Adriano Goldschmied. As you can see, there are a ton listed. There are 37,000 active listings. But this is one we're going to want to focus on wide leg. You can see that there are 193 active listings for wide leg jeans. And when we filter to solds, there are 68 that have sold. So again, not the greatest sell through, around 30%, but you can see that these do sell for decent money. This one was $45. Here's one that sold for $60, quite a few in that $40 to $60 range. And this pair of Adria low-rise wide leg jeans sold for $100. We've had a lot of luck selling this brand. It's actually sold quickly for us whenever we pick it up. And then here is the tag, so you know what to keep an eye out for. And then on the outside of the pants, a lot of times you'll see a label like this. This is a little bit hard to see, but the letters AG are embroidered on that tag. So when I'm skimming through pants quickly, I'm always on the lookout for this logo right here. Only a few more to go, so stick with me. There's still some great brands to be aware of. And as you watch, let me know in the comments, what is your favorite women's jean brand to pick up? What has been your favorite recent women's jean sale that you've had? I'd love to hear. Next up is the brand Good American. This is a newer company that was launched in 2016. It's known for its size-inclusive, flattering denim, and it's sold at Nordstrom's, Macy's, and Bloomingdale's. So hopefully it's one of those that you'll find out in the wild. There are 15,000 active listings, so you can see there are quite a few on eBay, and filtering to solds, there are 1,600 that have sold. So as a whole, not a great pickup. That's only about a 10% sell through. But when we look at the wide leg jeans within this brand, we see there are 228 active listings, and then filtering to solds, 99 that have sold. That's about 43%. That's a bit better. And you can see these are bringing in decent money around that $40 mark. Of course, there are going to be outliers, but this one sold for $60 plus shipping. Some even sold for a lot more. This one sold for $90, $80. So again, it's going to vary widely. Style, wash, size, all of these factor into desirability, but be aware of this brand. Here is a picture of the tag. It's very unassuming. Next up are the 7 For All Mankind Dojo jeans. I won't pick up all 7 For All Mankind jeans, but I definitely like to pick up the Dojo style. You can see there are 1,700 active listings, and filtering to solds, 702 that have sold. So right around 40%, not as high as I'd love, but not horrible. And you can see that these can fetch really good money. This pair sold for $124 plus shipping, $70. Of course, there are some lower ones around $30 to $60 as well. So there's quite a wide range, but definitely the potential to make some good money with these jeans. As you can see, the pockets have the 7, so that makes them easy to spot. This is what the inside tag looks like. And then here is a close-up of the outside label. Next up are the Paige Anessa jeans specifically. The Anessa has a really high sell-through. I'll show you. There are currently 111 active listings and then 104 that have sold. So that's almost 100%, which is awesome. And you can see these bring in great money. This one sold for $125, $80, $75, $130. So these are all really solid comps. There are a couple here in the mid-30s as well. So of course, there are always going to be those outliers. But as you can see, great money to be had. Paige in general can be hit or miss. Here is a picture of the outside tag. And then here on the inside, it generally tells what the style is. You can see here it says Anessa. So some Paige jeans can be great. Just look up that certain style and definitely keep an eye out for the Anessa. Next up are the women's Lucky Brand Palazzo jeans. Now this one doesn't have a lot of solds, but I wanted to show you because the sell-through is so high. There are 14 currently listed, and filtering to solds, 15 that have sold. So 100% sell-through. These all sold around $30 to $35, but then some even sold for $68 in shipping. On average, I'd expect around $35 to $50. And here is the inside tag, Lucky Brand. And then there's another tag on the inside that says the style that makes it really nice to be able to look it up. Lucky Brand jeans are another one that sometimes I pass up, but as you can see, there are definitely gems within the brand, especially if you come across the trending styles, the wide leg jeans, for example. Take a minute to look those up because as you can see, those are currently reselling really well. And the final one I wanted to highlight aren't technically jeans, so that's why they're a bonus. But as I was going through all of my research, this was a new to me brand that popped up, and so I just wanted to let you know to be aware of it. It is women's Red Ants pants. You can see there are only 25 active listings, so it's not going to be super prevalent out in the wild. But filtering to solds, there are 18 that have sold. That's about a 72% sell-through rate. It was actually even higher the other day as I was doing my research. And you can see that these bring in decent money. They actually remind me a lot of Carhartt style pants. They're known for being work pants. And this pair sold for $89, $68, $59, some in the 40s. This is a company based out of Montana and they make women's workwear. Here is a close-up of the outside label. Red Ants Pants is very unique. And then on the inside it says Made in USA and then the tag Red Ants Pants with some little ants on it. So that's one that should be really easy to remember. Let me know if you've ever come across this brand. I'm really curious. I have not found this out in the wild, but I will definitely be on the lookout now. Hopefully this video sparked a few ideas of some styles within brands that maybe are overlooked that you can look for now. I really tried to focus on highlighting some brands that will be easier to find or are more prevalent in thrift stores rather than the more rare designer brands that are out there but that are harder to come across. Please give this video a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe if you haven't. I really appreciate you being here and I'll see you in the next one.